Ah, yes, the old classic. I'm about to make a video, so let's have a new air that I've never even seen before. $3,100 was not given to Plarium during the last 30 days. That is because today is the end of the 30-day strike. We started on February 7th. We announced a 30-day strike for myself and anyone who volunteered to contribute. You know, it was a volunteer Mission Impossible, and a bunch of people actually decided to do it. And a lot of people who did the 30-day strike decided to give me a chunk of the money that they decided not to spend on Plarium. I didn't ask for that, but they decided to do. These are longtime veteran members of the Whale Pod. For instance, this money here that was given, about $3,100. Some of that is money that I would have spent on things like pack openings, because normally I buy ancient shards. Like I would have bought at least $500 of ancient shard packs during 30 days for sure. And I didn't do that, especially during like the 2X. I probably would have whaled out during that. So like there was a lot of money that was added into this pile that was not spent, basically. So the long and short of it is we got up to $3,100, crazy amount, I know, that was not given to Plarium during the 30 days. So the question remains, okay, DM, well, we have $3,100 here that wasn't given to Plarium. If you give it to Plarium now, kind of defeats the point, doesn't it? Well, yes, I would agree, and that's what I've been saying since the beginning. This is never going to them. This isn't something that's not going to them now. It's something that's never going to them. So actually, what I want to show you here, is hard proof of that fact, as well as letting you know kind of the future of the plan with this, and hopefully it's the start of something good. So I took the $3,100, and if you look here, this is an investing, a stockbroking app. Okay, I'm trying to learn stockbroking, come on, focus here. It's called Robinhood. If you look there, it says $6,200, and that's because what I did is I took the $3,100 and I matched it with my $3,100 for my savings. That's a pretty big chunk of my savings, if I'm being honest here. And I committed my money where my mouth is on the money that was given to me or raised as well. And I'm investing it. And currently what happened is I'm investing in some diagnostic companies and some testing and vaccine companies for the coronavirus, logistics and therapeutics, as I believe that might be a market. Plus, over the weekend, they signed an $8.3 billion funding act, $3 billion of which is going to diagnostic and testing funding. So for that reason, I do believe there's potential for that investment to be have some validity to it. Okay. That being said, that's what happened to the money. And you can see this isn't a screenshot. Like it's actually the app. I mean, I can go, these are the stocks I own. I can click on them. There you go. I'm happy to show you this stuff I own if you would like. You're more than welcome to come to the stream if you want. Some people asking me what app I use. I'm using the Robinhood app. Basically, anyone who owns Robinhood gets like a referral code. So I'll show you here, like I can go to, free. If you do this, you can do this too. You go to free stocks, you go to invite contacts, and then you can just get a link, right? So I'll have a link top of the description. If you download it, because it's a referral link, I get a stock, you get a stock. But basically, long story short, it's just a stockbroking app. You can just buy and sell stocks. So it's that simple. There's no limit. There's no fees. There's no commission. I put in like $50 to start, and then I got like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. So that's when I decided to put the $3,100 in and invest in. That's how I figured it out. So anyway, there'll be that if you want it. Okay, so now that's going to break down. Okay, DM, well, now we know what we did with the $3,100. So now that you took that money and you put it into something else, what are you going to be doing in terms of spending in the future of this game? I'm still heavily redacting my spending. I'm not really interested in spending again, so much to the point that even like these special offer packs that might be like a decent deal, with ancient shards, gems, energy, sacreds, I'm not going to buy these. I'm no longer interested in deals because I currently believe that the duplicate legendary system is not coming like it's been promised. If I had some hard proof of that fact, I might be once again interested in spending, but I believe that is kind of my hill that I'm going to die on here, which is that there's not really any reason for me to spend money in this game when I have a very, very, very large chance of pulling something that is literally completely useless. And for not even a chicken, right? I mean, it's a legendary. You can use it as a book, maybe. it really is quite unfortunate. So for that reason, I'm still heavily redacting my spending, and I hope that that kind of answers all the questions of one, what happened to the money? Two, are you going back to welling out after the 30-day strike is over? Okay, money-wise, that should answer that. Now let's talk about what we've learned. So what I've learned is a few things during the strike, which is one, it is still very you can still play the game. Like, you can still play the game. You don't have to spend money every single day in order to be able to play the game. You just have to be okay with the experience of the game being different when you're spending money versus when you're not spending money. The game is really quite something different. When you're not spending money, it's you basically are forced through the loopholes, or not the loopholes, but the track that it forces you on of doing your daily tasks and then all using your multi-battles. And it's really more of a game of, okay, use my resources where they tell me to use the resources for the daily quest, and then let me do this because it's a dragon tournament. You're really just optimizing. Whereas when you're a massive well or a pay-to-play, whatever you want to call it, it's really what do you want to do? You feel like, what do I want to try? What do I want to test out this character? It's really what you say, where do I want to invest my resources? It's different instead of where can I acclimate resources. And so for that reason, it is almost a different type of game entirely, but it's still very possible to play it if you're able to change your mindset. This is something that I've noticed too. I don't believe that there's something better or worse than either of these. Something I've noticed from free-to-play people, which I'll call out, is free-to-play people are like, you can play these games free-to-play. You don't have to well out. You guys are stupid. I deny that type of stuff because it's like, yeah, I've played games free-to-play, and you can play those games free to play. I think games like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, you can play free to play and still be very successful. Or at least you used to be able to, maybe not so much anymore with the way they're going. But the arena system used to be very free to play friendly and stuff like that. So I've done both. But that being said, there is difference of enjoyment in the game depending on what you're doing, and the games can be very different. So like when I'm welling out and focusing on something, I'm getting a completely different type of enjoyment from when I am a free-to-play person playing, which brings me into kind of an interesting topic as I remove this annoying overlay here that I wanted to mention, which is that did you know that Raid Shadow Legends actually has an inverse ratio of anger to profit? So basically, while community outrage and PR is at their highest, they're making their most money. So February, they had a record month, and it was some of the worst PR we've had. And on top of that, it can be reiterated by looking at previous months. You can actually go and you can look on Sensor Tower and directly see that when bad things happen, mostly like giant paywalls, when outrage happens, they make more money. So if we think about that with what we've learned, there's two types of players playing two different types of games. So what can happen is something can come out, and massive outrage can come out from people playing one type of the game. So you have something that's heavily monetized paywall for the whales that don't care, okay? Let's say if I was a whale that didn't care and it's for me, they come out with these new gear sets, for instance, okay, for Platinum. Now, there's going to be a big PR outrage about this Platinum gear set when it comes out. But when it comes out, they might actually see a monetization increase regardless of the PR because of the two different types of players. The type of players that are spending the game are going to invest their resources into this type of monetized wall. They're going to pay for it, basically. And regardless of the outrage, they are seeing that, which is part of the reason I believe we're not seeing a change in the production and the way the gameplay is being designed. Because if you look back at the revenue, people are voting with their wallets and essentially giving them more money. I mean, during my 30-day free-to-play strike, they made the most money. So, I mean, that tells you that my opinion means all, right? So if you think about that, it kind of breaks it down. And that, for me, has been the largest learning process of the 30 days. I kind of hope that you guys are able to see at least what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, like, I've stumbled upon some kind of new thing, I am a genius, eureka. It's just, there's a little bit there to think about. I feel like where there might be a couple different types of players, and those two different types of players splitting up the way they play the game can give you a split between bad PR at the same time of them making more money. Because, if what we say and our opinion as content creators, as well as as the populace, from what it's like, the Reddit, the community forums, the Discord. If that outrage doesn't really mean anything at all in terms to how it affects the company's bottom line, and if anything, they see a reversal of that, we're not going anywhere. So that's the 30-day breakdown, guys. I hope that the 30 days was fun and enjoyable. I'm sorry if the content was a little bit lacking, if I did run out of energy many times, and I had to hit up Raid with the old elbow and ask them for like some help a few times, and they actually gave me 2,000 energy one time, and what was it, some books the other time, I think. So they helped me out a little bit with that, and I appreciate that. So that's just some thoughts. I love you guys all, and I'm going to get back to working on my first video for an Old School RuneScape Iron Man series, because I've been playing Old School RuneScape on the streams. I'll see you guys on the next video. I love you all, and I need an outro. Like, there's a bunch of different people, right? You got like Mobile Gamer, his outro is like, "This is not a scam," right? And then you got Cubstan, who's like, "My brothers," with this thing. You got all these like outros, right? But I don't have an outro. Is mine like, "Have a good day, I love you"? Is that mine?